This is Just Win Bets, baby, on the Sports Bet Winning Network.
Joining us now is one of the brightest minds at VSiN, the Vegas Stats and Information Network. He's a veteran host and producer known for the analytical deep dives on a numbers game with our good friend Gil Alexander and Kelly Bidlin, and his pulse on the Las Vegas betting markets. If you want to know where the smart money is moving and why, he's the man with the answers. Please welcome our good friend Danny Higgins. Danny, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How you guys doing? Thanks for having me on, Paul. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Let's start off with this one, me bringing up the numbers game. You spend every day on a numbers game, right? Breaking down data. In your time at VSiN, what's one advanced metric that you use to be kind of like the secret among sharps, but it's now essentially common knowledge to the public?
I mean, one thing, especially if you like betting splits, I like looking at where the money's going, especially with different handle and like where the handle's going or where the bets are going to be placed at. On VSiN, we actually have a great site that tool that helps us decipher our circuit lines and DraftKings lines. So I'll look at those. A couple other things I'll look at is just different other sites to see where the money, like I said, is going, see where the numbers moving to, and then decipher from there.
That's good stuff. That's definitely good stuff. Let me ask you this, my friend. With the explosion of legalized betting now, it's not in all 50 states, but it's soon to hopefully get there one day, right? There's more expert advice available than ever for a casual bettor looking to take the next step. How do you suggest they filter out the noise and identify which data points actually move the needle?
Yeah, I would just depending on what sport you're going with. I mean, unless you're spraying the board with everything going on, but especially right now, if you're, dialed into NBA or hockey, look at some of the guys that have been covering it for the whole year, look at guys that have been, tracking the stuff, that dive into it every day and, go with that. I wouldn't say be looking at, multiple different sites throughout because you're probably going to get skewed numbers, with, different wings, but, it also helps to go and look around, but I wouldn't be taking bets, from 100 different people in one day just because they could be all over the place. I would hone in to what you believe in and what you find. If you're a numbers guy, if you're someone that likes to bet different ways, hone in on that, and then really you could dive in.
We're with, of course, our good friend Danny Higgins, and you can follow Danny here on X at D Higgins _4, and you can see it right there below on the screen there, folks. He is joining us, of course, from VSiN. Let's dive right into this one, my friend. You wear both the producer and the host hat at times. I mean, I'm not trying to take you away from our good friend Kelly Bidlin, but you do sometimes go in there and kind of help Gil out at times. How does the experience behind the scenes build the show and looking at the board change the way you approach your own personal handicap or betting strategy?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, I'm fortunate enough I've been able to be a co-host with Gil a few times when Kelly's been out. I've learned a lot from both of them. Kelly's helped me tremendously, especially behind the scenes with producing, but all his experience. I can't thank him enough for everything that he's helped me and keeps developing with me. And with the two of us, really just, putting our minds together and making a numbers game, the best show it could be. And then with Gil, I mean, Gil just with all, his analytics and everything. And, he deep dives into a lot of things and love his knowledge. And especially around the desk with him, makes me feel comfortable. And, we really get into it, especially during football. That was fun. I got to sit out there with him during Christmas week, got to sweat out some bets. So, it all comes full circle.
You had mentioned earlier in the conversation here the grind of the betting season. So, you have these segments, for example, on the numbers game, like the NFL draft or the MLB K props. Like you build, an instant rapport with, the viewers and of course the bettors. What's your experience with that? And who do you work with that? Do you work with an Adam Burke? We had him on as well. Or do you work with Kelly or it just depends on the sport?
I'd say, well, Probably heard it. We watch A&G. Kelly scours a lot, so I've learned a lot of my scouring the markets from Kelly, and we'll just be texting each other throughout the day, or if we see a market, we'll try to keep an eye on it. I think it's something that would be interesting to look at either going forward or something right there. Like last week, for instance, I found the race to 10 wins in the month of May, and Gil loved that, so we got that done. Which the Rays actually just got home with that yesterday. But we'll be looking at that in June, so it's not just even that short futures, it's something I think fun and, get you excited. You can even track a team for, a couple weeks, or, like how Gil does it with his monthly MLB win totals, which, I love to do too, because, you're tracking a team for that whole month, and it's just exciting, and also gets you involved in the game, especially if you're not, a grind, hard, say, baseball guy every day for a long season. If you do that, race to 10 wins, or you're going to do, the monthly wins, or just some kind of short future bet just to get you more involved.
No, I completely agree. And Shayna, who is a little under the weather today, so he apologized not joining us today, but I agree with you. We love that segment that you guys do. I mean, one of them being something that you just brought up, the MLB, the month, who wins pretty much the most wins in a month. But what was very interesting that I saw was who has the worst record in that month. I didn't know that was a market, but apparently in Circa it is.
No. When we do that, we just Gil just tracks it, so we'll track it to see. No, we can't bet on that one. That would be an interesting one, but that would be a fun one actually. We'll just track it, so then at the end of each month we'll see who who was down for that month, who was at the bottom half of the at the league, just to look for either next month or even just look for future purposes.
Hey, Mike Palm, that's copyrighted what I suggested. So, I'm just I'm kidding. We're with our good friend, Danny Higgins. Again, you can follow him at dhiggins_4. And you can see that right there on the bottom. Before we get to, I know you're a horse guy, and we love that. I would love to talk Kentucky Derby with you. And I have, this one thing, and I'll be honest, I had Renegade, but I had a trifecta, and I'm going to talk about it in just a second, but let me leave you with this question here with this one. The sports betting media landscape is shifting rapidly with massive partnerships and acquisitions. Where do you see VSiN style or hard data broadcasting going in the next 5 years? Is there an industry becoming more or less reliant on Vegas perspective?
I mean, with VSiN especially, I mean, with the expansion too of just all our podcasts that we have, I mean, check them all out. I mean, we got UFC podcast, which is First Strike. We got Long Shots, which Kelly is on. Our golf podcast. We have plenty of those. So if you just want to hone in on one of those, I think that's what sets us apart too, because we have certain experts that are special and, dive into those markets. And, if you just want to hear that, if you want to hear with Jensen Lewis and Dave Ross, they got the Daily Diamond every day. We'll put that one up with Jensen's baseball thoughts for the day. Again, that's looking at, if you want to go widespread, or you just want to hone in on one thing, or, hone on something for a little bit and see if that's some way you can attack that market in that way. So that's where I think VSiN, we, have a wide range of, different experts in different fields, and some of them, with, a little bit of everything, but, everyone's got their, keys that they have and that they hold. And I think that kind of what's, helps set us kind of apart.
I think that is a brilliant idea. I think, I don't know if Bill or Kelly, and I want to give credit where credit's due, but I mean, you mentioned a couple of the podcasts there. Yeah. We had the great Jensen Lewis on as well. And he was talking about the Daily Diamond, which, love. He's part of, for those who don't know, folks, is the VSiN by the book with our good friend Dave Ross. You mentioned First Strike. Shano has been on there a couple times.
And also next week, check out, I'll be producing Gil Alexander's Beating the Book. I believe it's going to be the French Open, so that will be coming up. But yes, that one is good too, especially during NFL season. Gil, Will, Todd, and he always has a guest on every week. So make sure you check out the Beating the Book pod with Gil as well.
That's great. That's great. And I'll be honest with you. I'm a big fan of Pod of the Futures. I mean, I like the logo and stuff like that.
JVT and Mitch, they're great.
Yeah, with JVT and Mitch Motter. JVT, we're hoping to get him on. We've been talking to him, but I understand you guys are busy, and I get that completely. But again, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule, Danny, to join us. And we've had so much fun with a lot of VSiN folks. You know, I know I'm missing a lot of people. You know, we had Wyatt, we had, of course, Zach Cohen, the great Greg Peterson. I mean, the list goes on. And Jonathan Davis. I don't want to leave anybody out, but they've all been great, very professional, very nice guys. You know, Shano off camera is asking, hey, who is the kind of like the holy grail of hosts? I mean, Gil's up there. I'll admit that. Stormy, I would love to interview Stormy. You know, I think she the way that she does, you know, she does do our live reads and stuff like that on her show Money Moves with JVT. I think she does a heck of a job. I think she's very knowledgeable. And she just, I love it. I don't want to label it as like a love-hate relationship with her and JVT, but
they have a great relationship. Yeah, I see them every day before they start their show. Oh, it's as you probably heard it before, you know, the VSiN Plus subscription, like some of the stuff behind it is just funny. But yeah, no, Stormy's fantastic. You know, just not only at VSiN, but with you know, NHL right now. You know, her being sideline reporter, bouncing around all over the place, and then with college football. So you know, Stormy's top notch.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, I love the chemistry there. I do. I really do. Let's jump into, of course, before we jump into the Preakness, let's go back a little bit to the Kentucky Derby. I'll be honest with you, man. I had a trifecta. I had my numbers were 1-6-18 and he came in 1-6-19.
Yep.
He came out of the blue. I thought, honestly, I had it as a box.
Yep.
I thought, you know, I didn't have it exactly. So it was I guess a trifecta box. I honestly thought, and this happened to me maybe 5-6 years ago, give or take. I thought Renegade was impeded. That's my opinion, but I'm not taking anything away from, of course.
You're talking about the start with the gate where they all came.
No, I'm talking at the very, well, yeah, a little bit.
Came out and So Happy came crashing down, and then it went from like 8 horses, just came right down on the rail. Renegade got pushed back, and then.
Yeah, I'll say that. I saw it a little bit more towards the end where, again, I kind of got screwed 6-7 years ago. I don't remember the horse, but they gave him the win, and then they say, no, we got to take it away because he impeded. I'm like, wait a second, what are you talking about? I think it was Moonshine. I don't remember the horse's name. I'll be honest with you, but it was definitely 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, no. Jose Ortiz making that move behind his brother. You know, they came around that stretch. You had Chief Ball, Commandment battling, you know, down. I had both of them on top of all my stuff. So I needed, you know, the 6 or the 12 there. Fortunately, they didn't get there because they were battling down the stretch there when they came around. And then, I mean, that move Jose made outside just to get that far away from the rail and, you know, let that horse go. I mean, that was a great run. Unfortunately, you're not going to see it, you know, here again, you know, 3 of the last 5 years. No Derby winner is going to be in the Preakness, but I guess we'll see going forward if they're going to change that schedule. But we still got a good race. I think it's going to be, you know, it's more of a wide open race, I'd say, in my opinion. Definitely talking with some people too. You know, it's a more wide open race. Open with the favorite, Iron Honor, at 9-2. Don't really see that as the favorite. Last time out, Woody Stevens finished 7th. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. I don't see that. There's a couple horses in there that I like. The one, Taj Mahal, that's one I'm looking at. That horse is actually there at Laurel. That's the Taj Mahal has run 3 times and he's 3-0 in his races, and all 3 of his races are at Laurel. So it's his home track. Put it that way. So we got some home field advantage. And that's my trainer, Brittany Russell. So that would actually be very interesting to have her win the Preakness, and then for the Belmont, we could have possibly female trainer versus female trainer to try to take down 2 of the 3, you know, crown jewels. That'd be cool. But Taj Mahal I'm looking at. Another one, Incredible. So, you know, you don't have some of the bigger name trainers in this with, you know, no Bob Baffert, Bill Mott, but we do have a Mott in it, but it's not Bill Mott. It's Son Riley, who had 2 horses in the Derby. One of them was Incredible. So Incredible was a little late ad, you know, but, you know, we'll see how it comes off that 2 weeks, but I could see him being possibly going off as the favorite in this race. So he's another one I'm looking at. And then the 7 horse is The Hell We Did. First of all, great name.
Yes.
Great name. Ridden by Luis Suarez. 4 starts. And in his 4 starts, he has 2 wins and he has 2 second place finishes. So 2 places. He will be one I'm either looking at maybe playing at 15-1. I could see maybe him getting bet down as well. Same with Taj Mahal, because Taj Mahal, the number 1 horse, that is its home track, undefeated on its home, going to have, there in Laurel. Could see that one just getting bet publicly. But yeah, I'm looking at the 1, the 7, and the 12. Haven't made any full, decisions yet on that, but
Sure.
Those are ones I'm looking at. I'll probably be playing some, some exotics with exacta and trifectas. But those are the ones I'll be looking at this week. I'll be looking to fade a couple horses, and one of them will be Iron Honor.
And let me ask you this, my friend. I mean, it's you had touched a little bit on it regarding Golden Tempo, the winner of the Kentucky Derby that took place 2 weeks ago. I understand there's not going to be a pretty much what, now I'm lost for words, but a triple crown. Yeah. Excuse me. Do you feel that? And I just feel, and this is not the first time it's happened recently, as you mentioned. Do you feel that, hey, what's the point of even mentioning a triple crown if you're not going to participate? Now, I can understand if the horse is hurt or they're sick or, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of like tennis, and I don't mean to bring up tennis as an analogy here, but and maybe Gil can relate to what I'm saying here. It's like, look, you win the French Open, but then you choose not to even participate. And even though you're healthy, you don't even participate in Wimbledon, which is huge. And I'm not comparing, Kentucky Derby as a French Open or the Preakness as Wimbledon. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying if you're going for the Grand Slam in tennis, why are trainers now afraid, or horses afraid? I mean, obviously the horse, I don't think has the choice, but it's more the trainer's decision that they're not trying to do for the Triple Crown.
I mean, it just comes down, some of these trainers now, especially with Cherie DeVoe. Since she opened her barn in 2018, I don't believe she's raced any of her horses with less than 4 weeks rest. I want to say maybe 3, but at least 4 weeks rest. And that's how a lot of these trainers now, they're not running their horses for 3-4 weeks, at a clip. So they're not going to be doing the 2 weeks back to back to back. We've heard, they should do the Triple Crown the first weekend of May, then do the Preakness or Derby first weekend of May, Preakness, second week or first weekend in June, and then the Belmont first weekend in July. We'll see if they go to that. I don't know if that's going to be something that they end up doing, but you look at these horses like, for instance, like the Puma got scratched, and the Puma is already looking for the Haskell, which will be at Monmouth Park. So the Puma is, preparing for that. So there's other bigger stakes races in between. And if you don't want to take the risk of injuring your horse or hurting your horse anyway, then that's why I feel like they're not going, with that 2 weeks rest, shipping them, up and around and stuff like that. So they're giving them more rest. They're getting them to getting them to where they got to go. But yeah, that's, I don't know. I wouldn't say, I don't know if we're going to have it again, but we'll see if, if anything changes with the race schedule, going forward.
Do you feel that they should kind of schedule it out a little bit more, like, every, the third week, except now the second week from the Kentucky Derby, because again, the Preakness happened, or excuse me, the Kentucky Derby happened 2 weeks ago, and the Preakness, of course, is this weekend. But do you think it should be kind of moved maybe a third week to kind of give them a little bit of a rest?
Yeah, I think if they, like I said, they do the Derby first weekend of May, Preakness first weekend in June, and then, you could do the Belmont first weekend in July.
Right.
I could see then where the trainers will be putting the horses out there to run. They still might not, because, for money purposes or, owner purposes, even though the owners might not want them to run too. So that's something, we might not know, but hey, like I said, the one thing that, because Golden Tempo was in this race with this field, I could see him winning by at least a few lengths here.
Yeah.
There was one horse that ran on Derby weekend. I believe it was the Pat Day. No, was it the Pat Day Mile? I believe it was the Pat Day Mile, but it was a Baffert horse, Crude Velocity. And a lot of people thought Crude Velocity was going to be for the Preakness, just because of the distance as well. But Baffert decided not to run it here. Forgot what race there. He's got him going for a race here in a couple of weeks. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that all, like I said, that opened up the field now here, for betting purposes, which is good for us because there's really good horses in here. So it's more wide open field. So hopefully you can try to get one of those exotics to come home like with better numbers than could have had if we would have had a really short favorite, which I don't see us happening in this race, in my opinion.
Since you cover pretty much in your passion here is in horse racing, I got to ask you, my friend, before I let you go, did you see the mammoth? It looked like the Andre the Giant of horses in Great White.
Oh, Great White, yeah.
Holy cow. It looked like, if I was there at Kentucky Derby, it looked like an eclipse, totally blocked the sun.
I've seen this horse, a couple weeks leading up to the Derby, and I told Kelly about it the week before the Derby. I was like, watch out for the Great White. Because the Great White wasn't in yet. Once Great White got in, I was like, oh, watch out for Great White. I was like, first of all, he's a big horse. He doesn't have the closing speed, but he'll get out on the pace. He's another one I'm looking at maybe putting in, maybe not first, second, but if I want to throw him into my trifecta, I can see him getting in there, hitting the board, trifecta, super. I think he'll be good at this distance. Again, he's going to want to try to get out there on the lead. He's going to be, he's going to want to take the lead more than he's going to want to stalk or close from behind because he doesn't have that speed. But yeah, no, he's a big horse. If you just see him going compared to other ones, he's a big boy.
Absolutely.
And I love the name for it because he looks like a Great White with that color. Oh, he's great.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. Unfortunately, he was scratched. I saw it live. It was bad. He landed right on his back.
Yeah. I'm glad, the jockey's okay. The horse is okay. Yeah. Unfortunately it happened, right before, but unfortunately it happens sometimes. And luckily both are okay. And, he's good to go. I guess he's ready. He's ate some carrots, got out there, and he's ready to run here in the Preakness. So we'll see if Great White can do something.
That's great. That's great. Again, we're with our good friend Danny Higgins. And then, folks, don't forget to log on to VSiN.com/subscribe, where you can get the pro subscription from all of our guests from VSiN, from the great Zach Cohen, Jonathan Davis. I mean, do you participate? Do you have articles? Even Luke's covered MLS.
Luke's little MLS.
Yeah. Hey, Luke, man.
Luke's doing great.
You don't have to. I'll offer it for free, man. That's no big deal because I'm at 80% right now. Shane went on with Dustin in cashing out about 2-3 weeks ago, where he went 3-1 in NHL, and he totally jinxed me. So he was like, "Yeah, Joe the fan, he's at 85%, blah blah blah." And Dustin's like, "Yeah, we'll have him on. Don't worry, we'll have him on." And then the last couple of weeks, I've just been either 2-2 or I think the 1 week, it's like I haven't had a losing week in MLS, and we're in the 13th week right now because it's midweek. And I went 1-3, I think. And I was like, dude, you're killing me, man. And my stats. But I mean, hey, it happens, right? It happens.
Yeah. I've been talking to Luke and a couple of other guys that cover the soccer about World Cup coming up because I'm definitely gonna have some futures in for that. We're watching that going on. So I'm excited for that.
Definitely looking forward to that, and I'm definitely crunching my numbers as we speak. Well, Danny, before we let you go, is there anything that you wanted to say or promote to our audience or to VSiN about? And again, I appreciate you coming on and talking not only Preakness and horse racing, but kind of the behind the scenes with VSiN.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. Check out VSiN. Like I said, we're YouTube TV. You can actually get us on Quad Box now, so you can watch 3 games at once and have us going through some live games, which is good. Channel 158 on Sirius. We got shows running all day from 7 a.m. All day long. So check us out. A numbers game. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time with Gil Alexander and Kelly. they'll be yelling Danny from the desk whenever I get in their ear about something. But yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on, and yeah, thank you.
No, we appreciate everybody from VSiN, and Danny, we truly appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us. Good luck to you, my friend, with the Preakness this weekend, and of course, stay safe, my friend.
Thank you. You as well. Appreciate it.
When we return, my best bets for MLS midweek for week 13 right after this.